This is your host Aman, and welcome to Products of Thought again. And I'm still at Tea Talks, and today I'm here with a designer and board game aficionado and an all-round intelligent man. And we're going to be talking about a few games today. So, would you mind introducing yourself to everyone?
Hi, I'm Sudhir. My pen name is El Sud, which is what most of our what the board games that I'll be on from now on. That will be my pen name. And yeah, so we've got two games, Tess and Kote, uh, as part of Okapia Games, which we self-publish essentially. So that's what.
What was the inception behind Okapia Games? Why began this in the first place?
So uh, so me and the other creator who goes by Mishmi Takir, um, we both were avid board game players during our grad school days at an institute, and we had our own clique where we used to play Catan, we used to play Dixit, all these things, and we really enjoyed it. And we were also like huge fans of Age of Empires, which is when we felt like there should be some board game that is Age of Empires like. We did not know enough about the existing board games at that time, so we set out. Coming up with some rules that are similar to that. And there's another game called Battle for Westmouth, which was another game that like really inspired us to say this can be sort of converted to a board game kind of format. And we really love the social interaction aspects of board games. That's why we were interested in making it a board game and not anything else. And that's sort of how we started there, where we were like, this is all again a hobby that every once in a while we used to play, and we used to keep iterating. And it took a lot of time, like 8 years before we made like a set that people can purchase from us. So that was Kote, our first game, where we made 10 sets so that at least the playtesters can buy those. That is a war kind of a game, so we wanted something more peaceful and cooperative and stuff like that. So we started out in a different direction. This is not a cooperative game anymore. We started with the intention, but this is not explicitly it's not like combative like that. So there is there is benefit in helping others, but still in a very selfish way. So yeah, so it does have a lot of social interaction that still happens on this game. But yeah, so when we were making this and we saw that this is a reasonably complex game, this is like a mid-weight game, mid-heavy kind of a game. This is a very light game, as in you can explain it in 5 minutes, and the game time is half an hour. This is like the game time will be 2 hours.
Like a proper war game.
Yeah, and this yeah, so we wanted something simple and something like the depth and uh, complexity has to emerge out of it, not like sort of forced in on by rules. That was one thing that we were trying to really get at. And when we saw that we could get this into such a form like reasonably quickly, then we said, oh, we have to make this big. We have to make this big, and we have to make it reach out to more people. And that's when like we first the first tea talks that happened, not the first tea talks, the second sort of tea talks that happened in Chennai. That's when we came to know of tea talks, and then that's where we launched. So like we got validation that this is something that there exists a want for.
Yeah.
And we were glad that we were able to make that.
I really like the fact that you said that the complexity comes out through the gameplay and not is not bogged down in the rules. Uh, I would say with your war game, the complexity is there, but again, that is more for people who are fans of like strategy, tactical combat, and all of that. I think that's the Kote is a game I think that they would enjoy a lot. I personally enjoy this a lot, especially not just because it has a magnetic board, which was a very smart choice on your end. How long did it take for you to like bring out the playtest tests, for example?
Okay. We did a lot of learning in terms of general board game design when we were making Kote. So that took 8 years. Um, 8 years in the background essentially, because we had our lives that we had to lead. Uh, but with a lot of the learning that we had, that including understanding materials, understanding where to get your boxes made and how not to make boxes, all of these things. And we also like run a maker space where uh, the problem is that we know how to make some of these things ourselves also, and we always go down this path of trying to make everything ourselves. But that's good until the prototyping stage, and after getting to manufacturing, it's a harder thing. So we had bulk of that learning we already had behind our back when we tried to make the first 10 sets of Kote. From there, in terms of game design and gameplay, also we did a lot of playtests there, around the world, and uh, from a lot of the feedback that we got in terms of how we simplified the rules there and stuff like that, we sort of knew this is what should be a game should be like. So we had a lot of backlog of knowledge that we had already, and with that, like got to our first playtest from the moment we had a rough idea of what the game was supposed to be, in probably like around a couple of months. And then we did a lot of playtesting, and like the initial rules were even simpler. And we wanted it to be a pocket game essentially initially. Yeah. So so our initial prototype was just like this tiny, and but it also had like much smaller tiles, and like especially with my big fiddly hands, it was like very hard. But when we made our prototypes, and I mean, we were trying to make a very different game initially, but as we were just putting it on the 3D printer, waiting for things to print, and just fiddling around with it, it's like, hey, this is better than the game we are thinking of. And or at least it's very different, but let's see where this leads. And uh, essentially this whole color points for different colors that you're touching kind of rule sort of came while the prototype was still being made. And so yeah, this all happened in the first couple of months. And then the more complexity came in, where we saw that just with the colors rule, it became a very there still was strategy and manipulating other people, all these other things was still there somewhat, but it was always like you're waiting like a vulture for somebody else to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was how you would go ahead in the score. The patterns still would look pretty and all of those things, but yeah,
Even though with all the chaos, it still looks really pretty.
yeah, the chaos is the prettiness according to me.
Actually.
Yeah, so every time, like because of the mathematics of like the shape, so these are called Penrose tilings. I mean, Penrose tilings if you tile it in a particular way, but essentially these are the basic shapes that form Penrose tilings. So the mathematics of this allows it to make an infinite non-repeating pattern. So this was something that we wanted to capture in a game, and we thought it would be really fun, and we have stayed true to that through our journey. Yeah, but we're talking about the other complexities that it wasn't capturing, right? So we saw that there has to be something that is not revealed to the other people. So that is where these pattern cards came in, and then yeah, that made it.
Can you show us a couple of pattern cards?
See a few. We have a few different types of patterns. And so and another thing that like really stands out is many of these patterns, it is not very obvious to see where it's going to come, right? So and quite a lot of this manipulating each other comes with letting someone else build a pattern that is actually helpful to you as well, right? So that part that stands out in board games, that part of it was something that yeah.
Yeah, when I was playing, somebody else was building something, and I was like, yes, keep building that. That's going to benefit me like 2 rounds down the line. That's
Yeah.
going to benefit.
Yeah.
So, uh, So where can we find all of these games to play? Is Kote still available, or are we waiting for?
It's not available right now. Kote, we are still playtesting to change the end game a little bit. And once we are happy with the rules, and we also need to figure out some things on manufacturing on that. And once these are sorted and we are able to give enough time on it, we will launch. Essentially, Bangalore in particular has a lot of mid-heavy gamers compared to what we were exposed to before that we knew of. And so, yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of interest for it. So we'll probably do that sometime down the line. But currently, we are still first trying to, get tests to a level where, we don't need to keep thinking about the manufacturing of it continuously. So it is getting there now. And I think once we don't need to pay active attention to tweaking tests anymore, I think we'll shift our attentions to
Where can we get tests? Because
so
I think this is a game that people will be really like that people will really have fun playing. As a group, as a board game night or something.
yeah. So okapiagames.com is where you get it. I think you can leave a link in the description.
Yeah, the link will be all over, which will be there. So please check out. Check out test. It has a magnetic board, which I am a really big fan of. I'm really big fan of anything magnetic, anything which I don't have to worry about. Oh, it got moved, now everything is destroyed. That's why I like magnetic chessboards. Sudeep, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a good rest of the tea talks, and we'll talk soon, I guess.
Thank you.